dealing with time. Time is extremely important to understand in Splunk. You can imagine that if you had a bunch of events that you were investigating and they had no timestamps, it would be a very confusing ordeal because you could have data from as early as 6 years ago all the way up until the current time, and it would be totally unorganized. Splunk has a specific definition of a timestamp, and it's from the Splexicon, and the link is down there at the bottom, and it is a default field that represents time information in an event. Most events contain timestamps. In cases where an event does not contain timestamp information, Splunk attempts to assign a timestamp value to the event at index time. The default time field for Splunk is _time. It's a Splunk-generated field, and it's added automatically based on patterns that Splunk attempts to recognize as time. And those patterns come from the raw event data. If there isn't an explicit time field, Splunk will try to guess which part of the data is representing time. And as a very last resort, Splunk will set the timestamp to the current system time. So there's no event left behind when it comes to time. That's how important time is. And for Splunk administrators, we can also see the importance of time in doing our SPL. Splunk uses the timestamp information for that time selector over on the right side there of the search bar. And as you can see, we have a lot of presets. We have real time, which gives us, for example, a 30-second window, and it would refresh every 30 seconds. We have relative, that's pretty self-explanatory. And we have all time. I caution you to use all time because if you have a lot of data and you tell Splunk to search something throughout all time on that data, it could go back as far as 6 years ago. And that's going to take Splunk a long time to get you any results. And it's going to be extremely resource intensive on whichever machine you are running the search on. So a good rule of thumb is pick a reasonable time range for your SPL search. Sometimes time is not in the user-friendly format that we would like it to be in. Often it's in Unix format, which if you've ever seen Unix format, it takes a little bit of internal processing by the user to figure out what time is actually being displayed. Luckily, Splunk comes with a bunch of built-in time conversion variables. And using the eval command, combined with this strf time, strf time, we can change the default time format to one of our choosing. So here's how the eval command works in that scenario. It's after a pipe because it's a command. We use the keyword eval. Then we name the new field. So in this case, I've just done time, but you could do timestamp or whatever you want, really. Equals, and then the keyword strf time, then parentheses, the original field, which in this case is _time, comma, and then in quotes, the variables that represent the new format of the time that you want. And we'll take a look at those on the next slide. Here are just some of the time variables that Splunk has built in for us. And they all start with percent signs. We have capital H, which will display the hour in a 24-hour clock. We have capital I, which will do the same thing but with a 12-hour clock. We have capital M and capital S for minute and second. And we have a lowercase p that will display either AM or PM. And obviously that works especially well with the capital I. We can also convert dates to the way that we want them. And of course, date variables also start with percent signs. And we have capital A for the full day name. Lowercase d displays the day of the month in number format with a leading 0. And lowercase e does the same thing without a leading 0. Capital B gives us the full month name. Lowercase b gives us an abbreviated month name. Lowercase m gives us month as a number. Capital Y gives us a 4-digit year. And lowercase y gives us a 2-digit year. Okay, pop quiz time. Suppose the time is 1:07:32 p.m. and we want to convert it. And we've used the strings on the left side of that table. And I want you to pause the video now and see if you can compute the output of that string based on the time above. Okay, are you ready for the big reveal? Capital I gives us the hour and 12-hour format. Capital M gives us the minute. And then that lowercase p gives us the AM or the PM stamp. And we can really put any marker in the middle of those. See, I have a colon there. You could have put a dash or whatever you want, really. The second one is capital H, capital M, which will give us the 24-hour hour and the minute. The third one down just adds a capital S, which gives us the second. The fourth one down is only capital S, which would only display the seconds. The fifth one down is a lowercase p alone, which only would display AM or PM. I don't imagine why you would want to use that, but you can. And the same is true for dates. So suppose the date is January 20th, 2017 at 1:07:32 p.m. and we want to convert the date and time using those strings on the left. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can compute the output. Okay, are you ready? That lowercase d will give us the day of the month. The capital B gives us the full month name. Capital Y gives us the 4-digit year. Capital I gives us the 12-hour hour. Capital M gives us the minutes. Lowercase p puts an AM or PM marker on it. On the second one down, capital H gives us the 24-hour hour marker. Capital M gives us the minutes. Lowercase b gives us the abbreviated month. And lowercase y gives us the 2-digit year. And on the third one down, this is something you probably would never use. I cannot imagine a scenario when you would ever use alternating lowercase and capital Y's, but you could theoretically do it, and the output would be 2-digit year, 4-digit year, 2-digit year, 4-digit year. So 17, 2017, 17, 2017. Let's take a look in our Splunk search head, and using our homework data, let's take a look at how to deal with time. Here we are in our Splunk search head. Let's bring in our homework data, and remember we could either do host equals homework, or we can click on data summary and simply choose homework. And I'm comfortable leaving this at all time because I know there are only 2,000 events, so it should populate pretty quickly. And here we go. Let's look at the first event, and we'll look at the raw event data, which is here at the top. And it was very easy for Splunk to pick out the time because I included time as one of the fields in the homework data. And here is where time has been assigned, and this is a Unix timestamp. So let's create a simple table with a simple scenario that's going to have a timestamp and a username. So maybe in this hypothetical situation we want to know when a user attempted to access our system. So we'll do the pipe and then the keyword table underscore time user, but we have to include user equals asterisk because we want to include all users. And let's run that. And now we have a timestamp and a user. And the timestamp looks okay. I mean, people could probably figure out the date and the time there. But let's say that that is not sufficient. Let's play around with the time here. So remember, in between these two pipes, we're going to do an eval statement, and let's call our field timestamp equals underscore time, comma, and then in quotes, the time variables that we want to include. So let's say we want 12-hour time, a colon. Let's say we want the minute, and for right now, let's say we don't care about anything else. And we'll change this underscore time field to our new field, which is timestamp. And of course, we have to include the strift time command. Now we see the 12-hour hour marker and the minute marker, and then our associated user. And we probably also want to see the AM or PM marker. And there it is. Now let's also bring in the date, and maybe we'll put it before the time information. Let's do a lowercase d and a capital B and comma. Now, what's that going to bring up for us? Lowercase d will give us the day of the month. Capital B will give us the full month name. Then we put a comma in there. Now, just for fun, let's try my little crazy time variable evaluation that I showed you in the slides, where I simply alternated year formats. And there's that weird timestamp that doesn't really mean anything there. Those are the basics of how you deal with time in Splunk. I really appreciate you joining me in this section, and I look forward to seeing you next time.